Prepare to attack.
Follow me to glory!
F it up!
Heroes never die.
I am ready to unleash the dragon.
Time for a new adventure!
You are listening to Choke Point.
Open core!
An Overwatch podcast.
Recorded live before a streaming audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
It's Choke Point, episode 8, recorded on September 21st, 2016. I'm Brent Copeland.
I'm Octane Pro.
I'm Freckles.
And here's a new show brought to you by the Large Marge Network, largemarge.media, to find all of our fine podcasts. We stream this one every Wednesday, and you can watch us live on twitch.tv, 9:15 Central. Or when we're early, when I get stuff done and we're early, no one's having to wait on me, we'll do it a little early like we did tonight. So
I like it.
thanks for tuning in. We got our chat room hopping, so go say some stuff in there. And until then, let's check out what's in the loot box.
What's in the loot box?
Alrighty, so what's in the loot box today? We're going to go over kind of what you guys can expect from the show coming up. So we have Overwatch dating. We also have an industry legend retires. The Overwatch Open this upcoming weekend following weekend in Atlanta, Georgia. So let's go ahead and jump in here and jump into our team status.
Team status. So, hey, on my way to ranked. I met some fine peeps tonight. Not so much, well, it was better than the other night when I played ranked with other peeps. That was still you, Octane. But tonight, we trounced some people. We went 3-0 in our ranked, I think, right?
We did pretty good.
Twice.
I'm not going to lie. It was a lot of fun to do very well.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. I'm still playing WoW, but I'm done leveling up. I'm already 110 and kind of waiting for raids and stuff. So there's just I'm getting more time to play Overwatch, which is cool. And thinking about playing a little bit of Paladins.
I've definitely noticed you on more, by the way.
It's just
now
been
that when I get
2
on,
nights.
I'm like, oh, there's Brent. He's actually playing this game.
I just
I like
watch
it.
for you to get on, and then I get on.
I see how it is. I see how it is.
So we want to do it like a dual cast where we talk about Paladins and Overwatch. No,
I don't want to do that.
People get angry. You don't have time for more than one game.
Well, if you've noticed, there's been a lot of if you follow a lot of people from High Res recently, all of a sudden this past week when Paladins went live with their open beta, there was this like huge, I don't know, just uproar on social media about just how like Paladins is just like a copycat of like so many other games, and it literally went through like almost all the characters in Paladins, and there were people referencing like this character is this character in Overwatch, and this character is this character in Team Fortress, and this character, and people were just complaining that there's no original ideas in the game at all because everything's just a copycat. So actually Hi-Res Stu was involved a lot with it too and responding and on Reddit, and so it's kind of a talk of the town right now from the Hi-Res community.
Well, and I hope it actually gave them some publicity. I mean, it's like Todd said, they didn't want to like go up against Blizzard. Like that wasn't their goal, and so they were actually making a different game. But the players were asking. It
just makes it hard to be like, okay, I'm going to go play Overwatch and play a dwarf-like character that sets up a turret, and then I'm going to jump into Paladins and wait, there's a dwarf character that has the exact same thing.
Yeah, or you go to TF2 and you go play a dwarf-like character who has a sentry gun.
Exactly, and so it's
he's kind of the shortest person on the team, right? An engineer.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of like, okay, you have a Hanzo, and then on the other side you have, I don't even remember the characters' names anymore. But,
but like what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Sure.
You know, I mean, it's like if you played original Paladins, like before all that, they had all those characters and stuff. So it's like,
well, I guess the question is, it all comes down to your timing, because like if Overwatch hadn't launched and was still like not launched yet, then would people be comparing Paladins to TF2? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, would that same
Right.
argument be coming out? My guess is yes, but so yes. Sorry, went off on a tangent a little bit there.
No, it's a good tangent because I think there's a lot of people talking about it. There's a
Yeah.
really good read that Todd posted that basically shows a timeline of when they did what they did and
Yeah.
when they did, and it kind of shows that most of the stuff that they had was like way before like Overwatch was in beta, where they could have seen anything.
My question is, did they have to do that? Like does an
Like,
executive
respawn?
need to get on Reddit and respond with such things to explain themselves? Like, does that make them look? Because like Blizzard would never do
Yeah.
such a thing. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to see Blizzard fire back and put out an article and be like, "Well, high res, here's our version of it versus your timeline of it." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
they're not going to do
Yeah.
that because sometimes it's good to be transparent with your community, but at the same time, it's always also good to not over provide too much information.
yeah. Well, yeah.
So it's just kind of one of those thoughts there with Paladins.
It's a thought.
So Paladins just now went into beta because weren't we playing earlier in the year?
Open beta. It was closed beta.
Oh, I guess I must have gotten in on that somehow.
Yeah,
They
gave you
they
some.
followed
Oh yeah, from Brent. Thanks,
they
Brent.
followed the same platform as they did with Smite, where they had. And granted, Paladins was not in beta as long. Smite was in beta for like a year and a half, I think it was. Brent. It was a while. I remember. In closed beta before they even opened it up. Paladins was much less. I mean, under a year. Because
Yeah.
I played in the original closed Paladins alpha, I guess you can call it, where
Friends
was
and
the first-
family.
it was the first time they actually opened it up to people outside of their office because their server was actually in the office.
Right.
And they opened it up to people outside of it, and you couldn't even join a game for 30 seconds before the game would crash. So it's come a long way, but it's definitely been under a year.
Yeah. Well, and that's crazy. And now they're copying. Blizzard's copying Paladins by having their tournaments in Atlanta. What's next? When are they going to be copying next? It's crazy.
Nothing's ever happened in Atlanta before.
Right.
Dude, Atlanta's becoming kind of the East Coast hub for a lot of esports now, which is really surprising. Just because it's always been West Coast for the longest time. And it's kind of really cool to start to see this because going back like 5 years, you really only had MLG, which was kind of going to different convention centers around the US. And then that was it. And then everything else was overseas, like ESL and DreamHack and stuff like that. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, like Atlanta's starting to become a pretty cool hub, not just for like Smite, but, now we're seeing Turner turn up their arena down there as well. And ESL has a facility out in California. So it's pretty cool. It's, yeah, it's pretty. I just wish there was more up north, like
Closer to
New
you.
York. Yeah.
I like them
Somewhere
right where
near the
they
middle of
are.
Pennsylvania.
That's right. Middle of nowhere would be perfect.
Right next to York. They could get live to play for them probably. Or at
Yeah,
least
right.
Ed Kowalczyk. But how was
Oh, my
what's your team status? Freckles?
Well, I actually haven't played much this week. I had a hard time, had some computer problems, and then at one point there was a DDoS attack, so I actually did not play much this week, and I think I only gained like 10 levels. So I've been
Only 10 levels.
Yeah.
I gained 1.
But I played today. I played Numbani seemed to be the map du jour. I think I played it at least 4 times today, but one time I went in and usually I'll get kind of worked up if people aren't picking classes that make sense, but we had no healer and we had no tank. I was Torbjorn. We were defending and I was like, whatever. I'm not even going to worry. I'm not going to waste the energy of getting worked up about it right now.
How'd
Just
that
here
work
live.
for you?
And we won. They didn't
Nice.
even cap the point. It was great. It was fantastic. It was a lot of fun.
Good.
No
Was it-
healer, no tank. We did it.
Huh. Well, I think y'all spoiled me tonight. Playing the other night, I seriously, I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to play ranked anymore. Like, I felt like no one was doing anything like team related, and like Octane left after the first game. I think he was just like, I'm done.
I'm
the
out.
night.
I'm out.
And then tonight, I was like, I don't know. I might just cancel the show. I might be done with this game completely. And then y'all came through.
Peace out. That's
I'm
right.
surprised we did as well as we did tonight.
I'm not,
considering
'cause
how
we
out of
rock.
practice I'd been. We do.
I
Rock.
was feeling it tonight. I'm not gonna lie. I was feeling really good.
Well, what else have you been feeling this week?
Feeling.
In your team?
as I was talking about last week, just kind of hammered away at content creation. I've kind of been looking at cameras, but they're so freaking expensive. Like the introductory camera for like a good vlogging camera and everything, that's like $500 to $1,000, and I'm not gonna spend that money. So I'm trying to make do with what I got, and get some content out there, not particularly gaming related, except for maybe Pokemon Go. And other than that, I've been playing a lot of competitive. I've been getting competitive ranked in at least one game a night over the last few nights. Multiples, like tonight beforehand. So that's been a lot of fun. I'm like trying. I went ahead and queued solo through all my ranked matches, and it's not something I recommend for anyone, because there's something to be said, even to be playing with one other person, that allows you to kind of tip the scales with kind of solo queue per se. And like I solo queued through all my matches, and I think no, except for 2 that I did with Freckles, but I only went like 3 out of the 10 for wins, so I got silver. So I've been dying to get out of silver, and I'm pretty much almost there. I think silver is like 2,000 plus, or I'm sorry, gold is like 2,000, and I don't know the upper side of it. Because Freckles, what rank are you?
Gold.
Gold, and what's your number? 2,000 what?
Low 2000s.
Low 2000s. I think 2000s like the cutoff for your silver, and I've been like right at like 1930. And then I'll duck down below 1900, and then I'm up to like 1950. So I'm trying to get up there so I can get into gold. So I'm looking forward to that, because like this past week I played with a bunch of people in platinum and had a really good time, and everything went well. And so I'm trying to push my way up there.
Well, we should have easily gotten you in gold tonight the way we played.
Yeah.
I definitely got a lot of points. Absolutely, it was my highest I've been, and that's been really convenient and nice. So.
How many of the purple points do you have?
I don't know. Now I gotta load up the game.
I only have 400.
What do the purple points matter? What does that give you?
You buy
At
weapons.
6,000, you get a golden weapon.
Oh crap!
Mine
Well,
says
I know you got much
3,000.
more than I do.
I don't have that many.
I don't even think I'm over 1,000, to be honest with you.
No, I have like 716.
We've got 400.
All right, we have to play more. That's all there's to. I have to have a golden gun.
How the hell are you going to get 3,000? I don't get that. That's like
6,000, wasn't it? 6,000.
Mine said 3,000 for Reinhardt.
Oh, maybe it's
Hammer.
3,000.
Oh, it's 3,000. Okay, let me look
That's
here.
better.
Still, it's like 100 games.
Crap, no.
At
Okay.
least.
Yeah.
Where do I view that at? Let's see. View career profile. There it is, right there.
Probably.
No.
You can view like Reinhardt or somebody, and then look at the weapons, and then it
We're
will
just doing this on
at the
stream.
very
I like
bottom. You're
Oh, I have 609.
And we need to play more.
Yeah, we do. We're scrubs. But the
Dang.
season goes for what? Is it a month? or
2.5
6 weeks?
months.
2.5 months. So it just started 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Is that when I started?
About 3.
I feel like we're doing pretty good. I mean, I think we need to play a little bit more, but I feel like maybe might be able to get to it.
So is
Competitive
it
is
going?
something I'll never do on my own. I'll never queue up alone.
Oh, I really should follow your suit on that one.
It's only recently that I've been able to quick match by myself since WoW came out, and that's all Cheshire plays anymore. So
Bastard. Who does that stuff? Jerks.
know, right?
What's up? Why don't you come play WoW with us? We got a guild.
I can't even hear you. He's playing right now.
Let him know he can join our guild if he wants.
Oh yeah, I'll be sure and do that.
got
And
some
make sure
folks.
that you can let
We're
time
starting-
hang out with me. Thanks.
Starting our podcast next week, World of WoW.
I'm already a WoW widow. I don't need to make that any worse.
Oh wow, widow.
Well, that's why you got to join. Be a joiner.
There you go.
A WoW widow maker.
Oh, you're
I see what you did there.
And I'm going to do this too. Here we go.
News and discussion.
So this segment is brought to you by our Twitter account. That sounds so weird to me. I'm going to change that in the next one. But anyway,
Go for it.
tweet us at twitter.com/chokepointpod and give us some hashtag goodness with like one of our segments in there with anything you want to chat to us about. So news and discussion. News tonight. What's this dating stuff?
Okay, so this is Overwatch, and it is an Overwatch dating simulator. It's not out yet. Should they expect it'll be out in a couple months or so, and it's there's only 3 heroes in it so far. It's May, Bastion,
What?
and I think Genji.
That's
And
some
it's
weird
not
choices.
it's a weird thing.
Well,
Apparently this is a thing that like exists in the world and I've just never known about it, but I was reading the article and one of the people that are developing it was saying that she really likes this type of game and I'm thinking this type of game has existed before, but apparently it's not unheard of to take somebody's IP and make a relationship game about it. And so you develop your own character and form a relationship with the hero of your choice. So it's not like you're putting 2 people together. Like if I was like, I want Mercy and Junkrat to date, which I kind of do, but it's not like that where you take 2 heroes and put them together and have a story like that. It's like your own story, you going through it and kind of simulating a relationship with this character. And it seems kind of weird to me, but if people are into it, I don't judge. I thought it was fun to read about.
no judgy judge.
No.
Well, that's interesting. We'll definitely put that in the show notes and let you find new love or something with
Ooh.
Bastion. So also this week, first gold border was unlocked in Overwatch by Tazzerk, Tazzerk. Hit level 1000.
Wow.
So what?
Go home. You're drunk.
I wish I had that much free time.
Oh my word. You do. What level are you now?
240 something, 246 maybe.
Wow, and you play more than anyone I know, so that's pretty impressive.
So only what 800 more levels to go?
That's it. I'm almost there.
No, I mean for Tazzerk to get the last border. So there's
There's
1800.
another border?
Apparently, there's no portrait, no skin variant, and no heroic introduction that Tazzerk hasn't unlocked. So
That's different.
be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Wow.
that's about it. Only played 16 to 17 hours a day.
How's that all?
Like what the crap?
Just a little bit.
Like who's failing there, right? Like I guess maybe his parents? No. Maybe he's getting
how you're
paid
like,
or
who's
pro.
failing there?
Well, he's not because like I don't care what age you are, if you can play 16 to 17 hours of Overwatch, that's awesome. Like who wouldn't want to do that, right? So success there.
Who's got time for that?
But like if I found out, like if I read on a news story that hey, my son he plays 16 to 17 hours a day, I'd be like, what? There's other. How is this happening? I'm a horrible parent. But I don't know this dude's age, so maybe he's like a pro player or something, streamer or something. I'm
Could be.
guessing
Yeah,
that.
I'm guessing he's not a school-aged child.
Right. I don't know why that's how old I'm getting. Like, yeah.
Old man.
Oh, get off my lawn! Quit playing Overwatch all day long.
You really are Reinhardt.
Go play some Paladins.
Yeah, how about that?
Catchphrase. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Octane, what you got for us?
All right, well, a few things going on. Unexpectedly, this past week, Chris Metzen actually announced his retirement from Blizzard.
What?
Those of you guys that are not familiar, Chris Metzen has been around since before Blizzard was Blizzard.
Staple
And
of Blizzard.
He's kind of had his hands in every game that Blizzard's come out with, and he's very deep into the influence of the characters and the character storylines and the universes and everything. So kind of out of the blue, it's kind of weird too, because it was just like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and retire on Monday. And then, last week, and then all of a sudden, like the following day or whatever, it was like, okay, that's my last day. And I don't think it came down to anything regarding like, hey, he was fired or asked to retire or anything like that. I mean, the guy's got, I guarantee the guy's a multi-millionaire.
Oh, yeah.
But especially with being around with Blizzard's start and probably having quite a bit of stock in the company from starting it. But that being said, they got some cool statue. They'll put a link in the show notes of him and Baby Winston. that they're actually going to be making for him. So that's pretty cool and nifty.
That's cool.
And I assume they'll put in some type of character in like WoW as my guess, or they'll ingrain him somehow. I think what it is, I bet you we would see some type of statue or that statue in like the cinematic or something like that coming up from one of like the Overwatch storylines or something, because Blizzard's really good at doing that types of stuff. So we'll see how that works out.
I'm kind of surprised that he didn't wait till BlizzCon. But like you said, it was kind of out of the blue. He said it was kind of he wanted to spend more time with family and I'm probably traveling and stuff.
That. I mean, he probably is quite the workaholic at the end of the day.
And then someone else left too. I mean, there's really no one except for Morheim that's as big as Metzen, right? So, I kind of wonder if it's kind of like a changing of the guard too. Like, hey, let's kind of start this new wave of younger developers and faces for the company with the next generation of games, starting with Overwatch, basically.
Yeah.
Because like,
I mean, I imagine the discussion's been going around internally for a year or more, probably longer, just kind of prepping it. And maybe the whole thing was like Chris Metzen was like, all right, I want to get Overwatch off the ground. And then, you know what I mean? And then step aside, and he's absolutely done that. And so, it's kind of surprising, but at the same time, I don't think anyone's like upset about it. So,
right.
I am. Going on, I thought I'd bring up. It's just kind of, Brent. I know you had where are we at with the Sombra website? What's
it's like 50-something% now.
Wow. So I guess my question for you guys too is like, do you think the Sombra hype has kind of died off now? Like it's quieted down and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't really like looked to see like what people are saying. It's at 53.2808%. But people were so pissed when it was just changing from 2 to like 3%.
Yeah.
That I think basically they just said screw this, right? Like we'll see it when it comes out. And I think maybe that's kind of what Blizzard wanted. Like maybe they overhyped it and we're like, oh crap. Like, okay, don't do a bunch of crazy stuff. Just let this. They'll see that it's coming out, and they've probably come up with the date that either the announcement or it's going to come out. I mean, they can extrapolate with the percentages going up at this point, I'm pretty sure, of what that should fall out for 100%. I haven't looked to see what that is.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I just feel like the hype's died down a little bit regarding like hints and kind of Easter eggs and Reddit and Twitter. It was blowing up for a little while, so that's kind of fallen off. So I thought I'd bring it up just to see. And then the final thing off of news that I thought I'd bring up to kind of get your opinion, I can voice mine at the end, is, and I'll throw it to Freckles first, is just how do you vote at the end of a match when you get to the vote screen? And I guess why? Like what do you look at? What's that?
I vote for my friends.
Oh! So, rich get richer, huh?
Usually I'll vote for somebody that's in my group.
Okay.
Or if nobody in my group, or there's maybe 2 different people, then I'll just look at what they do, and I just kind of glance at it. I don't spend time like studying like who am I going to do? What they did this, they did that. But if anything stood out during the game, like if somebody did stand out, like, oh my God, this Mercy was amazing. She kept me alive the whole game. I will definitely vote for them. But it's got to be something really above and beyond, like during the game, to make me take note. Usually, and then because looking at just the stats are different. It's hard to compare this much healing against this much, this length of a kill streak or something. It's kind of like apples and oranges. So usually I just go for somebody I know and like, or if somebody helped me.
Okay.
I did get a little bit of some vindication, I guess it was, one time I was playing, and I rarely get votes as Torbjorn, and I understand, and I'm not salty about it, whatever. But I was one of 2 of my team that got cards, and I was Torbjorn. And at the very end of it, the other guy who played well, he played fine. I think he was Junkrat, did fine. We won. And he goes, GG easy in the chat.
Well, You
No,
know,
this was before they switched it. This was before
okay,
you couldn't do it anymore.
okay.
And he goes, everybody. I had like 5 votes or so, and and he had 0. And he goes, "Where are all my votes?"
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody goes in the chat. They said, "GGEZ is a dick move," and I felt so vindicated because I feel the same way. I feel the same. If anybody on my team ever says that, I make it a point to say, "No, that wasn't easy." You know, if the other team gave us a put up a good fight, it's not easy. That doesn't apply, and there's no need to be a jerk about things.
It's more of bad parenting.
Absolutely, blame the parents.
I like it. I like where this is going.
Always.
What about you, Brent? You know, when you get to the very end of a game, win or lose, how do you?
It kind of depends. Sometimes I don't do it at all. Like I don't GG most of the time. Like if I'm with my friends, I'll do it every once in a while. But I'm just the antisocial in me. Just is like I don't.
The antisocial.
I don't want to see the chat of people bitching and crying and whining and all that stuff. And I kind of like that. I feel like chat's kind of hidden anyway in that aspect where it's just like they just don't even need the teams communicating with each other. But anyway, I usually kind of balance it out. So like if I'm with friends and stuff and I see like one friend's getting points and someone else isn't, I'll throw them a point, things like that. And then if I think I did really well and I'm getting points, I'm like, well, screw y'all, and I'll give myself a point, you know.
There you go.
It just really depends what goes on. And if someone really kicks ass, then yeah, I throw a point to them.
Yeah. I think for me, the way that I vote is based off of most of the time I'm voting for like the other team if they come up on there, because I always like to look at like the opposite team and be like, okay, who did I feel was like the biggest influence on the opposite team? Like, you know, oh, that Mercy just made my life hell, or that Genji was amazing. Or like that Reinhardt made it extremely difficult. And then I'm like, that person deserves a point. And so I give them the point. But at the end of the day, the second part of my question there is, what do we hope to see with this whole voting system? Because I feel like it's kind of pointless right now.
Yeah.
And it's surprising because Blizzard doesn't usually do these types of things where it's like, hey, we're going to introduce a system that doesn't have any effect on anything.
Well, there's an achievement you can get if you get, I think it's 20 of the cards, but everybody gets that. I mean, that's really easy to get.
Sure. But at the same time, it's also one of those things where it's like, you're not seeing anything out of this.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not a skin. It's not a gun. It's not a metal on the load screen. It's not a, you know, it's just not like, it just feels like nothing. And this is something that really surprises me coming out of Blizzard, because usually, as I said, everything kind of has this piece of the pie on the puzzle, and it kind of fits well. And this just seems like it was one of those afterthoughts they put in and didn't have the amount of like passion and heart put into it that the other things in the game do. So,
yeah.
What do you, Brent, what do you think what do you hope to see done with this?
I kind of like something they put in League of Legends a while back, and it was kind of at the end of the game, it had everybody's plate there, and you could basically give points out up to 3, I think, but it was like because you played well or good teamwork, or like there was a reason for the point. And I think something like that's more of, hey, you did well, but because of this. Because there's sometimes I see people on there and I'm like, we don't need another Bastion there, or you know, whatever stupid reason I don't think someone's there. I'd rather give it to someone who's not even on the board, but I can't. There's nothing I can do except for type in chat, and I'm, you know, there's voice. People use voice. You can say good game real easy. But then you could use those points to, I forget, maybe buy a skin or get a title or a glow or something once you accumulated points for doing good things like working well with your team, and your team actually noticed, so you got points for it.
Maybe per hero, too, because it keeps track of who you were when you did whatever it was that you did.
Yeah, that would be nice to see. It'd be nice to just see something in that regard. Like, I feel like you have to connect it with your hero, just to be, because the portrait's there. Plus, it's nice to be like, okay, Freckles like got 5 points this game as Mercy, and so there has to be some type of, you know, symbol or something that influences it to say like her Mercy play is really good. It'd be something nice to see when you, I don't know how you would do it, but when you jumped into a new game, when you jumped into a new game and you're at the character selection screen, if it had like above where you would pick your portraits, like there are three top players based off of the points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I could look, like we jumped into a game and I could look and say, wow, like Freckles has Mercy as her top one. So I know that, like, if you're going to select Mercy, I don't have to be like, well, that's not one of your best characters or something. Or,
Right.
you know what I mean? Or when you pick Mercy, I don't have to be like, is Mercy really your good character? Because I'm probably pretty good at Mercy. You know what I mean? Like, and that'd be cool. Same thing with like
Right.
Brent, to be able to see Reinhardt right there and be like, oh, you play a lot of tanks. I feel confident that like you selecting that, I don't need to create that argument. So that would kind of be a nice tie-in
I
back
agree.
into the game. So,
Especially if you have, and this happens fairly often, two people want to pick the same character.
Yep.
And say, well, I want to play this.
Yeah.
No, I want to play this. And well, who's the stronger Hanzo? Go do it. You
Yeah.
pick
exactly.
them.
Not all
And it'd be
three of
nice to
you.
see it was
Yeah,
nice
right.
to be able to see like a point value, and that's almost like your rank. Like
Yeah.
your Hanzo is at 235, meaning you have 235
35
votes.
commendations. Yeah.
Exactly. That would make sense. All right,
Yeah.
Blizzard, let's do
I
it.
like that.
Because
Let's get on it.
I
So
came up
it-
with that in the last like 30 seconds. Let's
That
do
was
it.
good. It might surprise you even further to know that they implemented that in Heroes of the Storm with the last patch.
Really?
Yeah, and that game's been out for years, and they just put in the voting.
I
via-
don't even play it. I swear I don't play it.
They've had it in Paladins for months.
Hmm.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just totally made that up. It just,
Oh, you're so silly.
no, it's a great idea.
I do. I like that a lot.
To backpedal just a little bit, so with the Sombra stuff, I just looked this up. If you want to follow along, you can always go to wiki.gamedetectives.net. We don't know them, but they do a lot of great game detective stuff. They've got a full page on Sombra. They've decided that it's going to reach 100% about October 16th or 17th.
So that's via like their calculations.
Yeah. So to me, that's like the announcement, or either it's released for their Halloween like updates, or like that's a good 2 weeks. Like, hey, the announcement. This is what it is. 2 weeks to play it on the PTR, and then it out for the next one. But who knows? We'll have to see.
Okay.
Well, that was some good stuff, and you're already starting on some ideas for the games. So how about we move on to that?
Torbjorn's Workshop.
So it's great. We got a call in for tonight's show. JBJ Blaze, one of our awesome listeners, called in, and we're going to play that in a moment. You can always call us, too, at speakpipe.com/chokepoint, and we will play it on the air as well. Or you can tweet us at chokepointpod and hashtag Torbjorn's Workshop. That's just for you, JBJ Blaze. I know you hate it when I say Jorns. But here we go. JBJ Blaze.
Well, greetings there, Chokey Pointers. This is JBJ Blaze! And my first attempt at this actually had a better Primal Rage impression. Just like the first time I actually recognized who my friends on Battle.net were, which brings me to my idea for Torbjorn's Workshop, which is to be able to give your friends nicknames like you can on Steam, for at least those who like to change their names a lot. Even you have, Mr. Brent, but at least I still recognize you as Chaos. But anyway, I just like to remember who my friends are. That way I can maybe know where I met them. Anyway, thanks for the great show, and bye-bye!
It's great. I think that's a good idea, like something like notes for people. I mean, you can only change your name once for free. They're adding in something where you can pay to change it, I think. At least they are for WoW, which I assume would translate over since it's a Battle.net thing. But why not just a note system so you could add anything to someone? Like, this is a shitty-ass player that's always trolling me. Don't play with them, ever.
Yeah, I have a lot of people on my friends list. And I'm like, where did I meet this person? How do I know this person? I'd like to be able to put, like, is it a friend of a friend? Did I meet them in game? What's happening? That sort of thing.
Did they resuscitate my dog?
Now, you can do that on the Battle.net launcher, but I understand the value of having it within the game itself.
It's value. I'll start off with my idea for tonight. I'm thinking of some sort of, like, hard point, like artillery gun, or it could be any item that's a hard point in the map somewhere where, so as, say, Reinhardt, you could all suddenly jump on this big artillery gun and maybe it shoots slow or whatever they have to do to the gun to make it fair. but you can't use your other abilities, of course, while you're in this like static point. But it's kind of something to kind of, at some points you don't need a tank as much, or maybe a healer as much, different things, kind of different times, and it would give you a chance to jump into something else. But maybe it has hit points too, so if the other team blows it up, then it's gone for the game, or
Maybe
even more.
disable for a while.
Yeah, like it's deactivated or something like that. If that's not what Sombra is when Sombra's released, things like that.
Now, would that be hero specific, or could anybody jump
No,
in and do that?
I think it would be open to anyone.
Cool. I can dig it.
Dig it? Can you dig anything else? What else? Freckles, you got an idea?
I got an idea, and I know it's unlikely, but I would like private servers. I would love to have my own Overwatch server where my friends can come in, and it would be public, so people can just drop in, people that I don't know. But if you're being a jerk, I would like to be able to kick you out. I mean, like, you'd have to be a really serious jerk, right? But I mean, I got used to all this because I had my own TF2 server.
Okay.
And we could kind of control the sort of environment it was, and it was a very welcoming community. It was very nice people. If anybody new ever to the game ever came in, we were like, oh, no problem. We understand we're new. We're not going to give you shit. Stick with us. You'll learn the ropes and you'll get good, because we were all really good. And there was none of this, name calling and just being a jerk all around. And it's just, it creates when you have a regular server and play with the regular same group of people, day after day, it creates the sort of camaraderie that you just don't get dropping in and out of random games. And I miss that, and I would love to see that in Overwatch.
I think they could do this even with not even having to do private servers, but basically like where you could set up a custom game, and then they have like a place where you could look at custom games, but you have control over that game, the rules on that game. You can kick people, things like that. So you could just kind of leave it open for people to join in, and y'all start playing the matches. And then if people are, douchebags, you can kick them and even ban them from that room.
I guess the downside of the private servers is that Blizzard has kind of gone a direction with a lot of their games now where they're not opening it up. So you don't have that ability to, like, look at the fight they have now with like the private WoW servers. And with shutting them down, there's a lot of vanilla WoW servers that have been getting shut down because at the end of the day, it pulls away from the subscription that you have to pay for. Now,
WoW.
granted, they could take it from their direction and actually like go into that market, but at the same time, then it's like, oh, they have to offer support on Freckles' server because if you have to buy the game, that what I mean. Like, do you go the avenue like with the WoW servers where like they're completely independent, you don't have to have a subscription or anything like that, or do they go with like in game completely where they're like, okay, we're gonna lease this server, X, Y, and Z to Freckles. You don't actually have your own physical server,
Right.
You just go ahead and lease one of ours type of deal. But then they have to. It's a quality of product thing that becomes very challenging. Well, they've kind of gone away from a lot of that. Do I think I think the other avenue is like custom games. Do they go into custom games and where StarCraft used to be with like map editors and stuff like that, and you can kind of create these fun games and stuff? Maybe. I just feel like they've kind of gone over the last few years a completely different direction to the point where it's a closed shop type of setup. And they want to control the flow of information, the game type, everything like that.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, but that's not going to stop me from wanting it.
Yeah, I mean, because I think TF2 showed it can be done. Matter of fact, I don't think TF2 would really be still going as strong as it is now if they had closed private servers or closed, I don't even know what you call it, game servers only. I mean, they have game servers, but if that was the only thing, I don't think they would have lasted. Because the whole thing was that people could make, I mean, there's thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of maps that you could play with TF2.
Right.
I'm ready for a new map, honestly.
And not
one
every
just
server
came out.
had every map in rotation.
Yeah, like there's nights we would play 50 different maps.
Right.
Now you end up playing like 3 or 4 different maps a night, and it's like,
right.
Okay. But we need more friends and do some more custom games. Those are so much fun.
I think custom games is probably as close as I'm going to get to that. And
yeah,
but they need a guild or a clan, right? And
they'll be lucky if they get into that. Like, I hope they do, but you might be lucky.
We'll see. What about you, Octane?
Something I thought about just as you had actually made your recommendation, Brent, was side objectives. It would be cool to have a map where, like, you know, you have your set objective where it's either, you know, moving the card or capturing the point, but could you do side objectives on the map that would help benefit your team? You know,
Yeah.
could you capture this little side point or something like that that would then unlock, I don't know,
Like
X, Y,
turns
and
on
Z?
sentry guns or something, or laser
Sure,
beams, or
turns on a sentry gun,
closes
or
a door.
you know, a robot goes ahead and is created.
Yeah.
You know, that would kind of be kind of neat, where all of a sudden you go to another location, you know, another spot, you fight for a lever of some kind, and then a robot all of a sudden comes up from the floor and fights for you and has X amount of health. That kind of stuff would be super cool. It reminds me a lot of, I take it from Heroes of the Storm, where like side objectives occur, and that benefits the overall flow of the game. I think that would be kind of neat. So that's just kind of my recommendation, and you could go all over the place with it.
Yeah.
All different methods, all different things. Like, you know, one side objective may require a sniper, and there's a target X amount of yards away. You know what I mean? Roll far away, so you have to grab a sniper, zoom in, fire, you know, hit it, and then unlock something. You know what I mean? That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, at a certain point in the game, you know,
I
stuff
think
like
that
that
might
would
be. I think that would be really fun, and I think it might could be like a new map type. I don't think they could integrate it in existing maps or have it on every map, but I think maybe as a new map type that could be really fun.
Yeah, and it would make the game a little bit less on rails per se, and a little bit more, you know, to be determined. It could go all different directions and stuff like that, and that would apply for both sides. Like on the defense side, you know, you do a certain objective, and railguns all of a sudden show up on a point, or on the offensive side, all of a sudden, you know, some type of robot that helps to push forward. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
what if you could?
think
What
of
if?
it.
What if
Think of
it's
it.
like
If
a?
you had a robot? If you had a robot all of a sudden like come up from the ground and is very tanky, then all of a sudden your team swaps like a full DPS team. You know what I mean? And then, you know, it just kind of adds such like a change and curve to the game. So that's what I'm thinking.
Like I think it'd be cool to do like a map where you could take over a point that would change the direction of the cart. So it's like there's 3 paths like the cart could go, but depending on which points you took.
Like a train rail. You know, you kind of
and you're flipping the switch on which way it goes.
Yeah, that would be
there's
kind of nice.
Like you said, there's a lot of different things.
That'd be kind of nice because your team could pick and choose it. So like, you know, the opposite team who's defending, when it, you know, you kind of have to adapt. Like all of a sudden, you know, we're defending this lane. Well, they swap the switch and now it's going a separate direction. Oh, now we have to move and reset up type of situation.
Maybe if you do really well, it takes a shortcut.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. So
a lot of cool stuff. Sam had something.
Mentioned
you got it.
Sorry, in chat that he would like to see some sort of guild or clan.
Yeah. I think he was reading our notes because I had that in there before I went ahead and changed mine to the objective.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great. I would love that opportunity just to be able to do that and, you know, rank up. And as you ranked up, you got different fun things. And yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Even have like a flag or something like that.
That would definitely help with the camaraderie that I was talking about earlier. Definitely.
Yeah.
I like it.
And then maybe even, you know, I guess you could do a skin that had like your clan's emblem on it. So you could.
Or maybe a color scheme.
Yeah, color scheme and emblem or something. And then you could buy. See, it's making money for them. You could buy a skin that would show off that clan emblem and colors.
Yeah.
All about the money. It's all about the money.
It's all about the money. So they're going to be making some money, I'm sure, on the old competitive scene. You got something for us this week, Octane?
Sure. So the Overwatch Open that has been going on for quite a few weeks now is almost coming to a close here. And we do have the grand finals for the Overwatch Open happening next weekend on the 30th. That'll be, as we talked about at the top of the show, it'll be at the new E-League Arena in Atlanta. And that is, as we talked about, that is something that Turner Esports currently has. They actually used it, I believe, for CSGO last season, and now they're utilizing it for Overwatch. Cool thing is there's no admission fee if you're in the area. And some from the streamer side, you know, watching it as a viewer, they're going to have 26 cameras set up in the entire arena. 12 of them will be dedicated to the players individually. They'll have one static one on each team, and then a lot of other ones to give us all different angles. And I think that's super important because traditionally when you're watching an esport and you're seeing like the arenas and the facility, it's a lot of static cameras. This gives you like a ton of different views, which I think will kind of help to immerse you and feel like you're there, which will be really, really nice. To give you guys an idea for the grand finals and how it will work, the open bracket has occurred, and which is 256 teams. The 4 of those teams, the winners from each week of the qualifiers, moved on, and same thing with the leaderboards in game. And 12 of those teams went ahead and moved on as well. So it should be pretty sweet what they're going to have. I'm excited to see it on and available. I'm interested to see how they go about doing it with because this is probably one of the best production setups that you can ask for from a video game industry. And so I'm eager to see how it's done, how they present Overwatch to a community as a esport, as a sport. And then, how does in-game end up doing? Because I've seen plenty of Overwatch matches and it's fine, but it's a lot of super fast paced and just, isn't presented in a very enjoyable way where you stay engaged for a while. So I'm excited to see how it works out.
So, and that's crazy. Like, we're used to Smite, they do their tournament, and it's like an all weekend event. This doors open at 9 p.m. or parking opens at 8:30 p.m. Doors at 9 p.m. Broadcast is at 10 p.m. It's like that. It's like bam, bam, bam. Late at night, it's gonna be done. I might have to. I'm actually heading down to Disney. I'm taking off that whole week, so no show that week. By the way.
Okay. Thanks. Hey, thanks for the heads up. Appreciate
the second through the whatever. Maybe I can, because my son likes Overwatch. Maybe I can talk them into hitting that first.
That would be super cool.
I
know the reason they're doing it super late is because jump back 3 hours, you hit your target market for West Coast, and jump ahead 6 hours, and overseas can go ahead and watch it. So that's actually the ideal time. It sounds crazy to be like, that's
why we do the show at this time. And you can see all the people in chat, how it works.
That's right. But it's the thing, it sounds crazy, and a lot of other esport events have never been starting at that time. But to hit all of your demographics, it's perfect. So good for them.
Think Todd will be there? I bet Todd will be there.
Oh, absolutely. Why would you not?
I don't know if I show up and I see Todd, I'm like, hey, how's it going, Todd?
He's there with a notepad taking notes.
And names. Oh, Brent's here. Never going to get into Smite tourney again.
Well, no, the funny thing is,
I'm taking notes.
I'm tempted to message Brad, who works for High Res and oversees their production, to see if he's going to be there, which would make sense. You absolutely go because one, it is a game that's in the same genre as what you guys produce with Paladins, and at the same time, it's good to see how other people are doing production.
Right.
What are they doing differently? Maybe getting a tour of their backstage to see how they're presenting it, what they have set up. And then for the high res staff to look at it and go, can we get ideas? What can we improve upon and do better? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's always good, if you know that there is someone else out there producing something that, Turner, who the influence comes directly from television.
Turner and Hooch.
Broadcasting. That you might as well go learn something new.
Yeah. Always good to learn. Speaking of learning, let's see what Winston's going to teach us this week.
Winston's Laboratory.
So we get there on his monitor, we see Athena, who's the good guy computer, right? There's a theory out there that Sombra's the bad guy computer, fighting against Athena.
Silly.
So it may not even be a character anyway. It may be something that tells us about other bad characters.
Maybe it could be anything.
But
all right, so Winston's Laboratory, we're going to share with you our tips and tricks for the game and how to be as good as us. Isn't that right?
That's right.
So Brent, what you got for us?
Use TeamSpeak. Huh? There's a whole app called TeamSpeak. Don't use that, but use the team channel when you're in a match playing. Don't use your group channel because your team's not going to hear you. It's a team game. So move over to team.
I agree. And I'm in the habit of doing that for competitive matches.
Yeah.
And I should get in the habit of doing it for quick matches as well.
Nah,
the reason I don't for quick matches because there's a lot of bullshit that goes on.
Yeah.
And we just talk about whatever because we're friends and we live across the country and we just kind of chat it up while we play. And I don't think everybody's interested in hearing that. But for competitive, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And then that's for competitive. I agree with you completely. Like, don't worry about it in just general play. I mean, you're having fun with your friends. I mean, sure, if you want to do it, but
yeah,
competitive for sure, do it and
Definitely.
Use it. Talk. Like, there's so many times you get in competitive, and you're like, "Is anyone else here?
Hello, hello, hello." Yeah.
Like, this sucks. We're gonna lose. I might as well just leave right now. Matter of fact, like maybe that's the thing. If people don't talk to you in team, just say, "Well, I'm gonna leave then." That's y'all's choice. Let's either work together as a team, talk
to me,
as a
or
team,
I'm out.
or I'm out. Out.
Did you notice in that second game we played tonight? It was just the three of us talking.
Yeah.
And other people, I mean, you could tell they could hear us because they were reacting accordingly, but they weren't on chat. But I think the fact that we could at least talk to them definitely helped a lot.
And they're like, "Damn, these it's like they know each other or something."
It's almost like they're pals.
It's cray-cray.
Totally. So my tip for this week is if you have a Mercy on you, do not take the health pack. Mercy can heal you and she cannot heal herself. And
that's a very good tip. And I'm like, I find myself now like trying to look around me more to see if there's someone else who needs it more than me. Like, don't take it from your tank if there's no one healing the tank. Octane.
Right.
He can't hear me. He's gone right now.
You had to step away.
But yeah, that's a very good tip. Like, your Mercy needs health. And I'd say healers in general, right? Or
well, definitely. I mean, like Lucio heals himself as he heals other people. Ana can heal herself with her grenade. I don't think Zenyatta can heal himself. So maybe just in general, let the healers get the health pack because they can heal you and not themselves. And if the healer dies, then he's not healing anybody. So like just protect your healer always and forever. Protect your healers.
And if you grab it by accident and you're like, "Oh crap," and then you see the healer right there, just say it.
It happens.
Like, don't
it happens.
worry about saying "I'm sorry." Like, I screwed up. I'm sorry. You know how much that makes everybody else like they feel like you're not just a jerk doing something. They're like, "Oh yeah. Shit happens."
Like this is an actual person and they make actual mistakes just like I do. Okay. I can live with that.
And it just makes the gameplay so much better. And conversely, if someone takes it, don't sit there and bitch at them. It's not your health pack, no matter who you are. Even if you're the healer, it's so easy not to see the healer, be in the thick of the moment. Just nicely remind them, "Hey, I could have used that. I will heal you. But it's okay. We'll move on. And if you do it again, I will disconnect."
Yeah, and if you make a boneheaded move, just apologize. There's no problem with that. Like, you have to be able to laugh at yourself and correct yourself when necessary. Playing Volskaya one time, and I tried to make that jump off to the left flank.
Yeah.
And I fell right into the water and died. My whole team saw me. So what am I going to do? Just like curl up into a ball and cry? No, I laughed about it and I was like, "Oh, let's play the game for sure." Like, no problem. And then I was playing earlier today and one of my teammates called group up. They pinged for group up and I didn't see it. Right. And I went to the point and I died. And then this was just a ping. This was not a voice communication. And then they came on the microphone and said, "Thanks for grouping up, Lucio." And I didn't see it. I didn't see the ping until I was died. And I apologized. I went on my mic and I said, "I'm sorry. I didn't see that." But, don't wait until halfway through the game to tell somebody that you have a microphone.
Yeah.
You have a microphone. Like, we could have been talking that whole time and playing together that whole time, but I didn't know that you had a microphone because you didn't have anything to say until you were going to be a jerk to me.
Right. That doesn't seem the best time to pull out the mic. Like, they're pulling out of the closet, plugging it in, taking them half the game. They're like, 20 minutes ago, you pissed me off. See you later. Sorry about that. Well, Octane Pro had to step away for a moment. He had something very cool, Like, it was a tip that like was no tip
It'll
I'd
change
ever
your
heard.
life.
It will,
Yeah.
but we're gonna have to wait till next week to hear it. So be
Please
sure.
definitely tune in.
Come back next week. You can watch the replay of this as in the VOD on twitch.tv/chokepointpod. I also put it up on my channel. That's youtube.com/@BrentCopeland, AT Brent Copeland. And next week we'll do Hanzo. No, we probably won't, but we'll say we will anyway. If you send in a bunch of tips, we'll have to. So,
Right, it's true.
send in that stuff. And anything else? Is that it?
That's all I got.
Okay, we'll see you later.
That's a star performance.
A podcast brought to you by largemarge.media. Go there for more information or leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/chokepoint. You can also follow us on Twitter @chokepointpod. Well done, my friend.